What's going on, people? It's Nats to here, live and direct and in full effect. Yeah, apologies for the horrible scheduling there, and I was late anyway. Lateness is greatness. Generational stinker and hooked. But anyway, as you can see by the title and with the banner just below me, pause. Yeah. Now, judging by scoreline, it was a great result. As far as I can see, I saw pretty much most of the game, missed kind of the first half-ish, but yeah, it's one of them ones where, for me, I knew we were going to win. Ipswich are going down. I mean, if you've seen the gap between 17th and 18th, I mean, it's fucking hell. I mean, and again, it's all newly promoted teams. Southampton, we knew they were going down anyway. Ipswich will follow, and it looks like Leicester will be there as well. I think they're pretty much all there because everyone's played 33 games, I believe. Other than I think it's like Bournemouth or Tottenham or some shit like that. Whoever's playing on Monday, let me double check. So I keep getting this. Bear with me a second, guys. Oh, it's Tottenham Forest. Yeah. They play at 8, so they're playing shortly. But yeah, other than them two, at this current moment, everyone else has played 33 games. So there's 5 games left. Just looking at the table now, just bear with. I think Leicester officially down. Correct me if I'm wrong. And Ipswich will be there or thereabouts. I think it's confirmed definitely by next game, but if not, I think they're already down anyway, even if it's confirmed right now. Yeah, Ipswich, West Ham, and then Tottenham, who are in the Europa League semi-final. Fucking hell. But anyway, we move. Big up AFC, always is everywhere. You're a real one. Here from minute one, so big up your damn self, as always. But yeah, basically, just going to go into what I thought of the Ipswich game. I mean, there wasn't really much to say or to talk about other than, like, why does this manager keep persisting with starting Saka, starting Declan Rice, starting Martinelli? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, this manager don't understand red zones, as you can see down here, right? He never understands red zones. And this is a problem. Say what you want about Arsene Wenger, right? Le Professeur. He understood red zones. If TT was in the red zone, he wouldn't play. If Dennis Bergkamp was in the red zone, he wouldn't play. Kolo Toure, Sol Campbell, Ashley Cole, Robert Perez, Freddie Ljungberg, Gilberto Silva, Kanu, Wiltord, Edu, Ali Adier. If any of you lot in the chat remember this, anyone in the comments later on, whatever, then you'll know. You'll fucking know. But anyway, back to this shit. This manager does not understand the concept of resting players. He doesn't. He really, really doesn't. And for me, the one thing I fail to comprehend is that time after time, players are dropping down like motherfucking flies, and not flies to shit. And yet he still persists. Like, literally, what is it going to take? Liverpool won yesterday. Trent with I wouldn't say a screamer. It's a decent shot, but the keeper should be doing better. But again, that is why Leicester are where they are. That's why they're going down. And they'll probably go back up anyway, because there's not many championship sides that can compete with them throughout the season. But anyway, I'll digress on that shit. They got their goal, Liverpool. So now it's one more win. And I am going to check this. I am definitely going to check this. So I want to see who Liverpool play next. Just bear with me a sec. Right, so Yeah, Liverpool do play Tottenham. I thought that was the case. I thought that was the case. Yeah, yeah. So Liverpool do play Tottenham. So Liverpool turn up. Tottenham don't bring any surprises or whatever. And I think they're focusing on the Europa League because it's Europa League or bust for them. A bit like us with the Champions League, except we're second and they're 16th, isn't it? So it is what it is. But yeah, this is where we're at, guys. This is exactly where we're at. They need one more win, Liverpool, and they win the title. So when Liverpool win the title, and if it's not next week, it will be the next game, basically a week after, pretty much. Because the following week, Liverpool have Chelsea. So either they can win it at home, mathematically, they've won the league either against Tottenham next Sunday or Chelsea next Sunday. That is where we're at, guys. Big up to my 2 live viewers, AFC always, and whoever the other individual viewer is, big up your damn self. Like, subscribe, you know what to do, share if you want, you know, after this live, let me know what you think in the comments and all the other videos as well. Go check them out. Natster Official, you know where it is, bro. You know where it is. Big up AT. Big up your damn self, bro. That's what we like to see. Oh, I need to get this one on. AFC always is everywhere. Back once again for the Renegade Master. Best believe that. You're a real one, my guy. You're a real one. Arteta should never have started Saka. Short spell, back in the game, and the intensity which he had to play, basically, especially against Real Madrid. Let him recuperate. The crowd and players were targeting. Okay, so yeah, I get it. I understand. So basically what you're saying, bro, is we'll get into that now. Now that it's fresh in my mind. Once, I can't remember who the Ipswich guy's name was, but yeah, he made that horrible challenge on Saka. Back of the Achilles. I mean, anyone that's played football, like, you know that challenge ain't no joke, bro. Achilles ain't no joke in any team sport, even individual, especially that involves running. But yeah, like, again, Saka didn't have to play. The league is done, and the league will officially be done either against Tottenham next week or against Chelsea the following week. So it's either next Sunday or the Sunday after. Pick your poison, innit? And to be perfectly honest, it would not surprise me if Liverpool we'll get a draw against Tottenham, we'll get a draw against Chelsea, we'll get a draw against us in 3 weeks' time. Guard of honour, we win it against Arsenal, just to rub it in. It will be so typical. It will be so fucking typical. And to be honest, we can't complain. They deserve to win it. Their fans have been classy for the most part, and their club is just, well, it's Liverpool, isn't it? You know, it is what it is. Just because they got knocked out by PSG, I mean, league is bread and butter, isn't it? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we need to be resting players because it's literally Champions League or bust. That's where we're at, guys. But this fucker, Lego Head, has other ideas. He's got other ideas, and I fail to understand. You know, I don't get this guy. I really don't. You think you know what this guy's going to do when it comes to, is he going to rest multiple players? Is he going to rest one or two? Is he not going to rest anyone? And we know the answer, guys. We know the answer. Thomas Partey suspended for the first game against PSG, the first leg against PSG in the Champions League semi-final. Why didn't he start over Rice? You're telling me, even with Jorginho out, by the way, broken ribs, I believe, or broken rib, you're telling me that he couldn't start over Rice with Erdegaard and either Zinchenko, or you play Lewis Skelly in midfield and play Kieran Tierney at left back? Why is Kieran Tierney not starting more games, especially towards the end of the season? Because it's good. If this manager ain't careful, he's going to have to start Kieran Tierney at left back to make room to put either Zinchenko or Miles Lewis-Skelly, probably most likely Miles Lewis-Skelly, in midfield. Because this whole Tierney at left wing, that ain't going to fly. Because Martinelli, yes, he's starting to turn up. Lovely goal, by the way, for the second goal. First goal, Trossard, he done well. But I'm still convinced he's better on the left and put Martinelli up front than the other way around. This whole false 19 doesn't work with Trossard. He's either an out-and-out number 10 or a left mid, left-sided player, left winger, but more techie left winger, like them playmaker wingers, not them touchline wingers, them inside forwards, like what this manager's trying to make Martinelli do, Saka do, you know, and Saka ain't like an inside forward. He's more of a wide playmaker because, again, number 10 and all of that shit. Do you know what I mean? It's the same old shit, guys. It's the same old shit. Like, I could understand, like, if we were a few points behind Liverpool, let's just say for argument's sake 3. Or no, 5. Let's say 5. Fuck it. 5. Let's say we were 5 points behind Liverpool at this point in the season. I can understand starting his best 11. No problem. No problem. And we're still in the Champions League. You know, going for both. Fair enough. You still got to manage it in game, which is another pet peeve of mine. You know, like the league ain't over my dead body, Arteta's saying. Bullshit. You know that's bollocks. I know that's bollocks. Everyone in the chat knows that it's bollocks. Anyone that's going to be watching this knows it's bollocks as well. Deep down, it's Champions League or bust. I've been saying it. It ain't no 50-50 Lamar settings. It is done. Liverpool only have to win one more game. One more game. Or they draw 3 games just to rub it in. They'll probably do the latter. And knowing Tottenham will turn up because they know that in order for us not to win the Champions League, it still has to be like mathematically possible to win the league still, even though we all know it's not going to happen. So Tottenham will turn up. They might even win the game. Who knows? They might even... Do not be surprised if they win the game. Because Liverpool could lose 4 out of the 5 games. All they have to do is win 1, and they've won the title. That's basically what we're dealing with, guys. That is literally it. There is no agenda. There's no narrative pushing. There's no fugazi. There's no this, no nada from me. Best believe that. This is what it is, guys. This is exactly what it is. Really and truly, yes, really and truly, we should be putting all our eggs in the Champions League basket. Rest these fucking players. I don't care if you have Kieran Tierney at left back, Zinchenko in midfield. I keep starting Ødegaard. That's the only one from the first team because he's been, as punishment. See, you'll punish Thomas Partey for getting suspended for the first leg by not playing him. But you're not gonna rest players when they need to be rested. You're not gonna keep playing Ødegaard. What was the last game that we played before? I think it was the Brentford one, wasn't it? Yeah, but before Ipswich, it was Brentford, I believe. Yeah. Ødegaard didn't start against Brentford. Why? Partey and Rice and them man started. Martinelli started, I believe. I think Saka did as well. Why? Because this manager ain't got a Scooby-Doo how to manage squads, how to rotate, fitness levels, red zones. Forget all the other buzzwords, you know, Project Youth. It takes time. It's a process. We can go on. Don't worry, I'll wait. I got time. But when it comes to red zones, you don't hear no puppet journos talking about that shit. You don't hear no top gooners, ultra super positive, toxic top gooners talking about that shit, do you? No, not at all. Not a fucking tool, cunt. 100%. 100%. It's jarring, bro. Because I really want to win this Champions League. Whatever I think of the manager and Wodegaard, pillow foot, innit? Pillow foot. I still want to win this Champions League. 100% I want to win this Champions League. But I do not trust this manager to do it. I don't trust him to do it. I really don't. I would love to be proven wrong. And yes, we are more suited to Europe this season, 100%. And the players are stepping up. Big up Declan Rice. Big up Bukayo Saka. You know, he was having a bit of ice on his calf and all of that. And from what I hear, thankfully, it's not that serious. But I don't want to see him starting at Palace. I do not want to see him starting at Palace. No chance. I see you in the background, Lawrence. Just give me 1 minute. I'm just going to go through these. Just a couple of other comments. Yeah. Rest everyone except Odegaard for the Palace game, and Wednesday I can guarantee the Palace manager will make a lot of changes because they have got the FA Cup semi-final at the weekend. Yeah, true. Yeah, true. 13 points we've dropped with Arteta playing Pie and right back. There we go. And on that note, I'm going to bring in Lawrence in. Big up, Lawrence. How are you doing, sir?
I'm all right. Hanging in there. You know, still buzzing over the win against Real Madrid. I know it was last week. Good performance yesterday, but it's what I would expect when we're playing a team like Ipswich. You know, so onwards and upwards.
Yeah. Like I mentioned earlier, there wasn't really much to talk about other than Saka getting, you know, flying about from an Achilles challenge, isn't it? I mean, we've all seen worse. You've definitely seen some worse challenges, but either way, it is what it is. But again, that wouldn't have happened if this fucking manager, hadn't started him in the first place. It's very simple.
Yeah.
It's very simple, mate.
Yeah, you're spot on. I mean, we've got 2 games that are going to dictate what our season's going to be. Those games against PSG. The other games mean absolutely nothing whatsoever. They're dead games. And I was surprised that he didn't make other changes to the starting lineup. And I was absolutely bricking it when Saka went down because of that challenge. You know, and I saw him having his leg wrapped up in ice. I mean, does this manager have a brain? You know, I mean, this is just a pure example of the naivety he has. You know, and I'm fearing for Wednesday because if he selects Saka again, you know, the same thing's going to happen.
And then who else do we have on that right? Ethan Nwaneri. And he's a number 10 by trade anyway. Yeah, this is what we're doing. And Ethan hasn't been... I have to be honest, I rate him highly. I know you rate him highly, but every time he came on yesterday, and I have to be honest, I wasn't that impressed. I mean, to be honest, it's Ipswich. We know they're going down. You know, the game was already won anyway. But even the other times that I've seen him, compared to what he did when he came on against Man City, as an example, and other games prior, when Saka was injured and we had to play him a lot more, it's kind of like he's either slowed down or it's a case of he's lacking a bit of rhythm. Do you know what I'm saying? He's trying to go around the outside and it's just not quite happening. And if we have to rely on him against the PSG, let's say you play Saka, because I could almost put my life on it that he's going to start Saka. He'll definitely bring him on if he's not going to start him. And then he goes down and he misses the PSG game. We've already got Partey out through suspension. And then we've got to rely on Ethan. Martinelli, if he goes down, then it's Trossard. And then if Trossard goes down or Marino goes down, then we're fucked, because then we've got to rely on a youth academy player. What's his name? What's that youth academy player's name up front? Double barreled.
Butler.
Butler, yeah, that's it.
Butler.
Yeah, we got to rely on Butler. Why weren't them kind of players? Why weren't the 3 or 2 like youth academy prospects, whatever you want to call them? Why didn't they get a game yesterday? Why didn't they get a game?
Because
in midfield we're struggling because we got no. Sorry, Lawrence, we got no Jorginho. I'll say this and I'll let you land. No worries. There's no Jorginho because he's got a broken rib or broken ribs. Either way, he's pretty much out for the rest of the season. Partey suspended for the PSG game. So either way, we're one light in midfield. Zinchenko was playing as the inverted, but again, against Ipswich, you can do that against Ipswich. Do you know what I'm saying? You could do that against Leicester.
Yeah.
You can do that against Southampton. You can do that against other teams that you know, as long as we take our chances, ain't really going to do shit. Even if they know what we're going to do, they're not going to have an answer. But against the better teams, that inverted shit won't work. And even if it does work, if it stops working, what's your next plan? You're going to put Tierney at left back like you fucking should have in the first place? Probably not. And if he does, it'll be 80, 85. I mean, against Real Madrid in the second leg, the game was pretty much done when Saka scored. And even though we conceded just after, like, Tierney was coming on like 92nd minute. Ben White, 92nd minute. Like, what is this manager doing? What is he smoking? He's smoking what I'm smoking, that's for sure.
This shows the class of this manager. He's got no respect whatsoever for Tierney. It's the same respect he had for Ramsdale when he backstabbed him and by bringing in Raya. This is what our fan base does not understand. The disrespect this manager has shown towards several players who are in our squad or who are used to play for us. It's just unacceptable. It's just unbelievable how he's treated these players, you know, completely. And it all comes down to the last summer's transfer window, when he said at the end of last season, when we finished second, that finishing second was not good enough for us. We had to finish better than second. And what he did during the last summer was, instead of lining up his ducks in a row and bringing in the people we needed to strengthen this squad, he sat on his ass and did fuck all, while every other Premier League side was signing every Tom, Dick and Harry that was out there. Right. And he struggled to get 2 signings over the line for the whole transfer window. A defender that we didn't really need, and a midfielder.
Who's now playing up front.
Who's now playing up front for us, because we've got no strikers. Because he didn't go out and get a striker last summer.
I think, Lawrence, that he wanted a Benjamin Sesko, and I don't even see him as an all-round, out-and-out striker, like not even a type like a Gyökeres or an Isak as an example. I see him more of like a Timo Werner, innit? He can play up front, but he can also play out wide if need be. Do you know what I'm saying? He likes them type of players. Look at Jesus. Jesus ain't an out-and-out striker. He's more of the false 9, but he's better out wide. He's technically good enough to play number 10 because of how he is on the ball. You know, Havertz, a little bit tidy, but I'm talking more Havertz when he was at Leverkusen before he went to Chelsea. He was doing well. But again, Havertz by trade was the classic number 10, basically where Wirtz is. But Wirtz is light years ahead of Havertz and Wodegaard, aka Pillowfoot, combined. Now he's worth 100 million. What is Odegaard worth? Barely even half of that. And he's on 240k a week. Havertz is on 280k a week. And we've got Jesus on the injury bench, fucking taking 265k a week. It's a mess. This is why I'm so glad that Andrea Mafioso, bad boy Berta, is here to clean up Lego Head's mess, because he's been a dickhead for way too long. And when you've been a dickhead for way too long, you're going to get seriously hurt. You know, you'll be begging for a slap round the face, and Arteta's not even got that yet. Not fully.
Yeah,
It's coming round the corner. It's incoming. But best believe that it
I
is incoming.
I know how this is going to turn out, because Arteta is now skating on thin ice, because he knows if he puts 1 foot out of line, Berta's going to be on the phone to his mate Diego Simeone and bring him in. I can see it happening. You know, I mean, this manager we've got right now has got away with murder. You know, as I've said this all along, when he got the job, it was like, how can I put it? Let's say you've got to go into hospital for a procedure, okay? And you find out that the person that's going to do the operation has no experience whatsoever of doing any kind of surgery whatsoever, and you find out that he actually in the kitchen of the hospital. Are you going to let him go ahead and operate on you?
No chance.
This is
Absolutely no
what,
chance.
you know, I mean, this is what this clown, he's a clown, he's a fraud. And all these dickheads in our fan base who worship him and think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, they're in for a big shock.
I can't
They
wait
are
for
in
next
for a
season.
big shock.
I can't wait for next season, Lawrence, when their Lord and Saviour,
Yeah,
Jim Jones in disguise, bruv. Best believe that. You know what I'm talking about, innit? Anyone in the chat,
yeah,
any of the viewers, anyone else that's going to see this, put the comments in, whatever, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Trust me. They will drink the Kool-Aid, and once they drink the Kool-Aid, they're going to know what's what. They're going to know Wagwan, innit?
yeah.
Wagwan for myself, yourself, Aaron, everyone else, you know, Carl, Matty. Matty's been saying this. Big up Matty, Southern Goonie, yeah? He said himself, and I'm going to paraphrase this. He said, Bert is being brought in to get rid of Arteta, basically, in the end. Now, the likes of Igal, as an example, doesn't think he's going to do that. Well, I have to be honest with you, Igal. I know you're great at the trolling. You know, you do what you do, whatever. It is what it is. But I've not bothered. I'm not bothering trying to understand the likes of Igal and a lot of these other Arsenal fans and even football fans, because the problem is we're living in a society, we're living in a football world where stats are dominated. There was this chick, Stump Peg. I don't know if you've heard of her, but she's been on Sky Sports, the social, and all of that. You know, I've seen some of her videos where she goes around the football stadiums around the country and all that. Fair play, innit? I think it's a great idea. She's done very well. Cool. Good luck to her, innit? But when she was talking about Mo Salah, you know, having a better legacy, being a better player than Cristiano in the Premier League. Now, Cristiano ain't my grade. Cristiano, I would honestly say, is not even in my top 50. Like, balling. You know, like Pele had the top 100, innit? He struggled to get in that 100. Maybe. But I can reel off 10 players easily, that are better than Cristiano. But even Cristiano at Man United, the first time round, light years ahead of Mo Salah. But the reason why, and she got cooked for it, and rightly so, by Boovie of all people, a Man City fan, yeah? But either way, I digress on that. Basically, this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with fans. And some would argue that she should know better, done her homework and all that. Yeah, granted. But at the same time, when you're basing it on stats and you're not watching the game in terms of how they're playing, you know, man, woman or child, you know, non-binary unicorn, of course, whatever his gun says, it doesn't matter. I don't care. Watch the game. Too many of these fans, modern day fans, are watching stats. They're looking down at their stats or their papers, whatever, while the game's on, whether it's on the TV or, God forbid, if they're watching it live. Do you know what I'm saying? It's an absolute catastrophe. It's a mess. And I think more and more people, and big up the younger generation, more and more of them are like, do you know what? we're getting tired of this. We're getting bored of the Garnachas, innit? We're getting bored of the Jeremy Donkus and all of that. We're getting bored of Mo Salah being lauded as the greatest Premier League player ever, along with Kevin De Bruyne. Now, a comparison between them two is far more feasible. But Salah and Cristiano, CR7, no chance. And KDB for me ain't even the best midfielder because they've been pedalising that shit. You think KDB's better than Yaya Toure? You think KDB's better than David Silva? Even a Mesut Ozil that couldn't be fucking bothered. Is he better than him? No. No. Santi Cazorla? No. Philip Coutinho, especially when he was at Liverpool? No. Do not tell me, don't tell me about all these guys. Like, don't get me wrong, Kevin De Bruyne, very good player. But generational? Like, greatest of all time Premier League? No. And again, it's based upon stats. If we took all of those stats and put it in the bin, and then all the stats you have is basically possession, goals, and assists, but I would rewire the assists. I'd make it key assists because what KDB used to do a lot was put the ball on a plate for the likes of Sterling, Aguero, etc. That's a proper assist. What David Beckham used to do in his sleep. You know, Robert Pires had done it. Freddie Ljungberg done it. Dennis Bergkamp did it. Ozil did it. Santi Cazorla did it. Coutinho did it. Eden Hazard fucking did it. You know, like proper assists. And they scored wicked goals as well. But we're in this era now where it's just like, well, if you score 20, 25 goals, automatically you're a great player. Okay, so if we're doing it on stats, right? Yeah. If we're doing it on goals scored, GA, innit? Combined, right? Is Alan Shearer better than Mohamed Salah? Uncomfortable conversations. You know, you could say as a player technically that Salah's better, but even then, like Alan Shearer's a better goal scorer, but you know, because he scored more goals. But Mo Salah, he's done well this season. He's done very well. Don't get me wrong, but it's just like, you see what I'm saying, Lawrence? It's uncomfortable conversations. Yeah. When you start putting stats in, and I bring up an Alan Shearer, this is what they're going to do. Exactly my point. Exactly my fucking point. Because if you're going to bring stats, you know, I don't want to hear or see Salah being in a TT conversation. Never mind a Cristiano conversation. Do you know what I'm saying? Eden Hazard, Neymar, you know, them kind of players. Because let's be real, Salah technically, I don't care about stats, because here's the thing with stats, right? Stats are there to back up what you're seeing on the pitch. That is what stats are there for. Stats are not there just to make players that aren't that good look very good, because that's what they're showing us, really and truly. But again, you've mentioned it before, Lawrence, and I'm going to paraphrase here, because I don't know word for word, I can't remember, but still, you know, Arteta spectacles, do you know what I'm saying? Arteta tinted glasses. I say plugged into the Arteta matrix. I say plugged into the Sky Sports, the TNT, all of that Premier League bollocks, bruv. You're in that fucking matrix. And then you'll have this girl that ends up getting cooked because she is hell-bent, like many other fans, modern fans, girl, boy, man, woman, it doesn't matter, on the stats to back up all of their arguments. But if you just go on what you're seeing of them performance-wise, you know, because they want to do the whole no context thing, and at times it can be funny, but if you're going to remove context out of everything and you're trying to be serious, how can you be mad if the likes of me or anyone else, for that matter, is either going to take the piss out of you or just not take you seriously? And I'm not even taking the piss out of Stumpeg, aka Neve, I believe her name is. I'm not trying to take the piss out of her. I wish her well. But if you're going to get cooked, you have to hold it. Because hopefully she realizes that, and to be honest, in a way she should know better. Because if your channel is based on predominantly going to all of these stadiums and watching the game, you know, recording your experience, and most of the time she does it by herself, other times she's with other man or certain other people, whatever the case may be, right? You know, and she's being lauded as this genius. Well, hold on a minute. When you make outrageous claims like that, you have to be checked. In other words, there's got to be serious questions asked. And if we're not even asking those questions, or if you're saying we shouldn't be allowed to ask these questions, it's a problem. And the Premier League are in deep shit. And Lego heads, Maresca at Chelsea, Pep to a degree, although he's the most successful, he's basically managerial-wise what Cristiano Ronaldo is to the Salahs, the KDBs, and even the Garnachas, especially Garnacho, and the Jeremy Donkus and all that, Jeremy Dokus of this world, yeah? Cristiano is the king of the scrubs. He's the king of the bums, right? Yeah, of players. And Pep is the lord of all these scrubby, wannabe, like top level elite managers. When it's not the case, do you know what I'm saying? Even Xabi Alonso, very good manager, but is he a great manager? Not right now. He isn't. So this is what we're dealing with, Lawrence. I know I've been rambling on a bit, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, as for this Eagle or Egal, whatever his name is, I just think he's a wind-up merchant. I think he knows 100%. Nothing about the club. I watched him yesterday. He was doing one of Dan Potts' podcasts with Kenny Ken, and he was so insulting towards Kenny Ken, right? When Kenny Ken backed him in a corner about his knowledge of the club. And I've got no time for dickheads like that. They're not Arsenal fans. They're just minions. They've got no knowledge of the club whatsoever. He's only been following the club for 5 minutes, and he thinks he's an aficionado who knows everything. He knows fuck all. Right? There's Kenny, myself, Jez, and DJ KB, who've been following this club for over 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We go back to the days of Highbury, of Bertie Mee, of when we did the double in 1971. And this little shit, excuse me using that language, but this little shit thinks he's better, right? He knows more about the club than what any of us do. Go fucking do one. You're nothing, as Ty would say. You're fucking nothing.
It's funny you mentioned. It's funny you mentioned Ty, bro. It's funny. It's so funny. I'll just say this very quickly. Sorry to cut you off, Lawrence, but like, to me, a gal is basically like a younger Ty. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he's related to him somehow. Like one of them, you know, like, because I've got family technically in the States. I definitely did at one point. And, you know, because the gal's Canadian, apparently he lives here or whatever, you know, it is what it is. And then you've also got that Jess Bird as well. Now, Igal is one thing. He's one. But, you know, and Jez questioned him, you know, how long you've been supporting Arsenal since 98. Well, if you have takes like the ones that you do, and you've been supporting this club since 98, you should know better, first and foremost. You've seen more than I have. And I know what I know, and I know ball. But yet you're going with the narratives. The problem is Igal is too brainwashed. He's part of that. Well, to be honest, I think he's older than me, but that's not even the point. The point is he's so obsessed with the David Ornsteins, the Charles Watts, Charlie Boy Watts, and all these other puppet journos and all of that. They feed into that shit, and it suits their narrative to the T. That's why they get the views. That's why they get the subs. It is what it is. But at least with a gal, I will say this about a gal. He was first going into this, like, you know, going on streams with guns or being on streams with guns and Jez and all that. He was very arrogant, a bit narcissistic, unbearable, and he still is in a way. But at least he's kind of toned it down a bit. Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas like a Jess, for example, super narcissistic, you know, very unpleasant. Do you know what I'm saying? And she got caught out by, guess who? Jez Jez absolutely schooled her, and rightly so. But the thing is, the difference is between her and Igal, as an example, is just like she got humbled, but wasn't. Do you know what I'm saying? Couldn't accept it. But there are many fans like that on and offline. You know, it's not exclusive to either and or. Do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's all I wanted to say on that. Carry on, Lawrence.
Yeah, but don't you find it strange that Igal, right? He gets slagged off online by Lee Gunner, and I look at the comments of all these videos, and everyone knows he's a dickhead. You know, they call him every name under the sun in the comments, and yet he still comes on to all these podcasts to do all this stuff again. I mean, if that was me, I wouldn't bother. You know.
I think it's yeah. I just think Lawrence is more. He's trying to put his eggs in multiple baskets. Do you know what I'm saying? Because he knows deep down the writing's on the wall. He's just not ready to fully accept it.
Yeah.
You know, like Morpheus said, some people aren't ready to be unplugged. He's not ready yet, but he'll be there.
This is what
he'll be there.
This is what I keep saying about Igal and all these. You call them Arteta sexuals. I call them plastic deluded AKB ostriches, because they've got their head buried in the sand so fucking deep that they're living in a fantasy world. You know, they are like drug addicts, alcoholics, and gamblers who are in denial. They can't admit that there's a problem, but deep down they know there is a problem, but they're too scared to admit it because they think it will go against the grain. They think that this manager, Captain Black, as I call him, I know you call him like that, Captain Black.
Yeah, I'll use Captain Black as well. But yeah, go on.
Captain Black. They think he's bigger than the club itself. And I know I'm going to keep saying it, right, because I know there are new people that come on and look at these podcasts. But do you see a picture of a Spanish clown on my shirt?
Not at all, mate. Not at all.
You don't. It doesn't say Arteta FC either. These dickheads think that this manager, including him, they think they're bigger than the club itself. I don't see any banners around the Emirates that says "Welcome to Arteta FC." I don't see on the stadium, Arteta Stadium. Right. This club, again, I know I keep saying it, but it's true. Next year, this club turns 140 years old. This club was founded in 1886.
That is football heritage. Yeah, not 2019.
Not 2019. The problem is we've got pricks like Igal who seem to think that Arteta formed this club in 2019. We've got fans in this fan base who are still living the invincible year of 2004. They're stuck in that 2004.
Oh, Ty's definitely stuck in that. He's been stuck in that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
you know, they cannot come up to speed and realise that we're now in 2025. And as I said, next year this club is gonna turn 140 years old. There's this club who I think prides itself on tradition, class, history, heritage. That's what Arsenal is all about. You know, Herbert Chapman, Sir Henry Norris, Cliff Baston, Frank McClintock, Tony Adams, Ian Wright, Charlie George, John Radford,
Rocky Rocastle,
Dennis Bergkamp, all names synonymous with Arsenal. Right?
Paul Davis as well. Paul Davis is
Paul
another one.
Davis, David Rocastle, and these pricks want to build a statue of Mikel Arteta outside the ground because we've got to the semi-final of the Champions League. Do you get a trophy for getting?
It's mad, Lawrence. It is mad. Do you know what I'd say very quickly? Let's say we do win the Champions League for argument's sake. If people want to build him a statue, I'd be like, okay, well then the likes of because what is it? Who's got a statue at the moment? It's Herbert Chapman, Tony Adams, TT, and Bergkamp. Am I correct? Or am I,
yeah,
and
unfortunately, Arsene Wenger.
Did Arsene Wenger get his statue as well? Okay, so there's fine. But yeah, that's a bit debatable. But you know, I can understand it to a lesser degree, right? Then George Graham should be the first on the list to get his statue.
Yeah.
You know, Bertie Mee, you know, Cliff Bastin. There's a load of other people that have been associated with this football club. David O'Leary's another one. I think he's our most capped player. Charlie George. Yeah, there's loads of ex-players, you know, managers, you know, that deserve a statue before Arteta, even if he does win the Champions League. Do you know what I'm saying? Arteta should be last on that list, even if he doesn't. Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? So
George Armstrong is another one. Bob Wilson.
Oh yeah, of course, Bob Wilson. I almost forgot. Yeah, Bob Wilson. What a legend. You know, what a legend.
Tons of them. And yet these pricks in our band. I'm sorry. These deluded AKB ostriches want to build a statue for this clown of a manager. Give me a fucking break. You know, this just sums up the mentality of this fan base.
Cool. All right, bro. I'm going to go through the comments because I missed a few comments. So we got Static here. Big up your damn self. Much love, brother. Yeah, 4 likes. Like and subscribe. Yep. Keep getting those numbers up. Best believe that. AFC always is everywhere. My biggest supporter at the moment, along with Static as well. Static had to go, but you'll see that in a sec shortly. We had to get rid of Ramsdale. You can't have a goalkeeper who doesn't concentrate for 90 minutes. Yeah, it's the Pigeons' fault. It's always everyone else's fault, but the players or the managers and all of that shit. Every time, fucking time. AFC again. Big up your damn self each and every fucking time. Gyökeres scored a hat-trick the other night. Scored 34 league goals, 47 in all competitions. Better bring Gyökeres to the red carpet. 100%, I back it. And also, Gyökeres applied his trade in the Championship. Same place as Ivan Toney, by the way. So if we don't get a Gyökeres, and if we don't get an Ivan Toney, but we get a Sesko, the only reason why Berta would get a Sesko is to drown this manager. But the only reason why I don't want him to do that, even if I understand why he would do that, as an example, is because it sets the club back. Do you know what I'm saying? I want Berta to make club signings, and I believe he will. Yeah. And to be honest, even if we buy a Gyökeres or we buy an Ivan Toney, who's killing it in the Saudi league, been doing that, do you know what I'm saying? Right? It will show how out of touch and out of reality, more importantly, this manager is with this football club, how much power he's got and how it's slipping away. You know, Arteta knows best, Arsene knows best, tomato, potato. It's all the same fucking thing, mate. It's all the same fucking thing. They never learn. Yeah, smash up the likes and subscribe if you haven't already. Of course, you know what to do, people. You know, and obviously Static is a massive fan of you as well, Lawrence. Big up. Gal ain't flying like an eagle, as I quote a song. Yeah, there we go. He's got to go. Take care. Have a great show. Yeah, 50 minutes in. I think our biggest view count is, I believe, 5 at the moment. So big up to each and every one of you. Do you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, but a bit off the cuff, but it's how I like to do it. And there'll be more live streams coming soon, but I'll tell you more about that at the end. Patrick Vieira should have a statue as well. Yeah. Facts. The fact that he hasn't got a statue yet is a disgrace. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's a disgrace. That's what it is. A disgrace. Facts. 100%. 100%, bro. Like, I'm sick and tired of all these people saying, oh, yeah, Arteta should have a statue already. But yet, Patrick Vieira, one of our best ever captains, one of our best ever captains. And then you got Tony Adams, of course. You got Frank McIntosh even before that, before my time. Both of them, really and truly. Like, Frank hasn't got his statue yet. That's another one.
Yeah.
Obviously, Patrick Vieira, Paddy V, I call him. It's a joke. We're living in cuckoo land. As Roy Keane would say, as Keano would say, they're living in cuckoo land. And this is what I don't understand. It's like, if you have so much like venom for us, if you have so much vim, if you have an issue with what we're saying, either don't bother watching it. I could care less either way. I'm gonna keep streaming, doing this, whether people like it or not. Either way, I'm just gonna live my life, do my thing, just like you are, Lawrence, and everyone else has been watching. Aaron, who was on the last stream as well, with Shane. Big up to both of them. Like and subscribe to them. Best believe that. Like, the thing is, it's just this level of narcissism, this level of arrogance baffles even me. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I knew there would be an element of that. Do you know what I'm saying? But the level of it to that extent, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I don't understand it. And especially when you know so little about the football club. I can honestly sit here and say, I don't know shit about the football club compared to yourself, Lawrence, Jez, and Kenny.
Yeah.
You know way more about the football club and football, especially when it comes to Kenny as an example, than me. I can humbly say that, or not even so humbly. I can say it either way. No problem. No problem. But the likes of Igal, these stat merchants, these mathematicians, or wannabe mathematicians either way, the Jesses, and other people as well, Neve on a much bigger scale, it's like, even though she's not like really narcissistic with it, she's trying to play it cool and calm. But again, if you're going to play that game, innit, Barry White settings, playing your game, baby. Your game, baby. And all of that shit, yeah, right? Like, you have to know what you're talking about. Do you know what I'm saying? To a degree, you have to know what you're talking about. And I know what people are going to say. Oh, but I wasn't born in that era. He or she or they, them, whatever, weren't born in that era. Okay. Do your research. Think of all the historians. Think of all the tour guides in the world, that are doing tour guides for like the Colosseum and that. Were they born in 500 BC? No. How do they know what they know? They've done their fucking job. They've done their research. They put in the time so they can be the best tour guides possible. Do you know what I'm saying? And depending on where you're a tour guide in the world, they get paid quite well, as far as I'm aware. Correct me if I'm wrong, but again, it's dependent on where you are, what company, etc. But they still have to know the basics at the very least. Do you know what I mean? It's not easy being a tour guide. Otherwise, I could do it. I would be more qualified to be a tour guide for Arsenal than probably whoever they've got right now. You, obviously. Jez was offering his services to Arsenal history. Big up Jez, Arsenal history and more. Like and subscribe and all that shit. For damn sure. He offered his services to Arsenal Football Club to break down the history, the real history of Arsenal Football Club. And he wasn't even going to charge them a penny, even though he could have done. Maybe probably should have done. But either way, I understand the fact that he didn't want to charge it. That's fair enough. Even for free, they turned him down. That tells you everything about this football club, how it's been run, who's operating it, what their mindset is saying. And the fact that we got Berta in and Josh is finally realising that this process, this project, ain't cutting it no more. Like, he can talk about all his successful teams in America, maybe one or two in Canada or whatever, with hockey, ice hockey, whatever, to his other billionaire mates. But he's been feeling the pressure from his other billionaire mates. Todd Bowley is feeling it now at Chelsea. Do you know what I'm saying? They don't want to be clowned. They don't want the piss taken out of them, and they're very prideful beings. Like, billionaires are very prideful. I don't know a huge amount about billionaires. I don't know any personally. But one thing I can tell you for sure is that their pride, and even more so their reputation, is everything to them. Everything. They'll do literally anything and everything to keep their reputation and their pride intact. Like, people don't know what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with the billionaire in Josh Kroenke, who's finally realised at this moment in time, obviously, we'll judge it in a year or so. I give him a year. I give Berta a year to see what he's really on, and if the club are going to hold him back or whatever, or if Arteta's going to get in the way, snake, and go up to Josh, try and be his fake buddy again. You know, like how him and Edu were fake buddies. You know what I'm saying? Igal was talking about him and Berta, Lego Head and Berta, being best mates because Berta tapped him on the shoulder. I mean, like, what is this? if that's all it takes to be someone's friend, I'd have 1 million friends already by now. You'd have 1 million friends, Lawrence. Do you know what I'm saying? If this is what it takes to be someone's friend, Lord knows what it takes to be someone's partner. Do you know what I'm saying? Maybe a hug will do it.
Yeah.
Maybe a hug will do it. I don't know. Like, it's madness, bro.
I sometimes wonder what colour the sky is in Igal's world, because he's not in the world of reality whatsoever. You know, I've got to tell you a story about someone who slagged me off on Facebook when I started my issues with Arteta. She used to appear regularly on AFTV when it first came out 10 years ago. Her name is Jeanette Falconer.
Right.
And for some reason, I found her on Facebook, and I sent her out a friend's request, which she accepted, and we started talking about Arsenal, you know, and it was all amicable, and you know, everything was hunky-dory. And then all of a sudden, because I want this manager out, she comes onto my Facebook page, calls me a glory hunter, and that if I want to support a team that wins trophies every season, I should be watching Liverpool and Manchester City. Because according to her, winning trophies is just a bonus, you know. She just wants to watch entertaining football.
Wow.
And this is the mentality of people like her. They're in a completely different world from everyone else. And for an Arsenal fan to say that just shows what's wrong with this fan base.
My thing has always been, Lawrence, like, just why can't you have both? Like, I get entertaining football, but why sacrifice trophies? Never. You never need to sacrifice trophies for pure entertainment. I want to be entertained. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
But I want to win trophies as well, because I'm an Arsenal fan. And I ain't no glory hunter, because if I was a glory hunter, I'd be supporting either Real Madrid or Man City in recent times, you know, even Liverpool. Even because Liverpool, well, they're going to win the league now. They've won the Champions League multiple times. And in my lifetime, I've seen them win it twice. And one of them was at the hands of Tottenham. Now, Tottenham are in the semi-final of the Europa League. And they're looking like they'll probably get to the final. Unless Bodo Glimt does something incredible. Because we played Bodo Glimt multiple times in the Europa League. I remember it. I've seen the games. Yeah. I remember them games. Briefly, very briefly, but when we had Maitland-Niles and all of them ones there, do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Reece Nelson was there playing, and Smith Rowe, I believe, like, at the time. It kind of baffles me, but it doesn't shock me. Here's the thing, nothing shocks me, period, but that, what you're telling me, it definitely doesn't shock me. You know, that we have fans like that, you know, and they have that expectation of where, oh, trophies are a bonus. Well, if you honestly believe that, whoever you are, do you know what I'm saying? Go fuck off down the lane. Go support Tottenham. Go support Palace. Better yet, go support Brighton. Because Brighton were voted the best run club in the Premier League because they made what 200, 300, 400 million pounds, for a club size of Brighton, whatever. Okay, well done, well done. What have they won? They were in the FA Cup semi-final a few years ago, and they got knocked out by Man U on penalties, right? And I watched that game. They should have won that in normal time, and they could have won that in extra time as well. Do you know what I'm saying? But because they were comfortable in the league, what a journey to be proud of. Fuck off. Get the fuck out of here, man. Do you know what I'm saying? I've got to move on to, what is it? We've got Palace coming up on Wednesday, I believe. Yeah, we've got Palace coming up at home, and that's an evening kickoff. I don't know if it probably should be on TV, but
it's out here.
Yeah. I think in the States, Canada, I believe, maybe Mexico, I'm not too sure, but in North America, I know in the States that they'll show pretty much damn near they'll show every single Premier League game. I know that for sure. They'll show Champions League for the most part, and they'll show some cup games as well, especially in the latter stages. Carabao Cup, I know it's been there and gone and all that. Obviously, with Newcastle winning it, another one. Newcastle haven't won shit since 1969. They won their first trophy since then. Won their first domestic trophy for 70 years. Yeah, and then if and it's a big if Tottenham win the Europa League and we don't win the Champions League, that manager should be sacked on the spot. On the fucking spot. I don't care what he does against Palace coming up. Do you know what? The only reason I'm talking about Arsenal Palace is because it's in the title. Really and truly, do you know what I'm saying? Here's my preview of Palace, and then chime in whenever you want, and because it's going to be pretty short, at least for me. Here's a preview of Palace. Rest Rice, rest Martinelli, rest Saka, start Partey, start Tierney at left back. You could even rest Saliba. I personally would. I would have probably rested him against Ipswich because Ipswich are already down. I don't know if they're mathematically down yet, but they're very, very close for it being mathematical. But we know all the promoted sides are going down now. Wolves got their act together. They're going to survive. And they officially have survived, didn't it? West Ham will survive just because the other three teams have just been dog shit, really and truly. I mean, Southampton, we need to get rid of these parachute payments. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because we've seen too many of these meaningless games. We've got meaningless games coming up now in the league because of how this manager has mismanaged this squad. His in-game management is probably the worst I've ever seen. His lineups are a joke. Even to this day, the only reason why I believe that we even got through Real Madrid to make it comfortable to go into the second leg and do what we did was because Declan Rice stood up, Bukayo Saka stood up, even Mikel fucking Merino, who ain't even a striker, false nine, whatever, scored a very good goal. He scored a quality goal. This is what we're relying on, individual brilliance. The only difference between him and Ancelotti at this moment in time is Ancelotti, he's either going to get the Brazilian job or he's done with football, period. I can see it in his eyes, bro. The fire in the eyes. Yeah. The fire in the eyes, guys. Do you know what I'm saying? He's done with football. He's done because he knows he probably doesn't even want to play Kylian Mbappe, but he's injured now, maybe till the end of the season or whatever. But other than the Copa del Rey, their season's done. So if they don't win that, their season's officially done anyway. So this is what we're dealing with. I summed up the preview very quickly because this is all we have to do. Play the subs and reserves, right? Anyone who's registered for the Premier League, obviously. And then we've got 1 week. I don't want to see Saka playing. I don't want to see Rice. I don't want to see Martinelli. I don't want to see... I'll add Saliba in that list. Timber as well. Do you know what I'm saying? If we lose to Palace, what does it really mean anyway? Liverpool are 1 win away from winning this league. So basically, we're waiting on Liverpool for it to be confirmed, and then he's going to rest all these players. This is how fucking stupid. This is how incompetent. This is how naive and inept, not just tactically, just in general, inept Lego Head is, right? And I refuse to go into detail on what we can do for the Palace game. You know, people talk about, oh, momentum and all of that. I'm past the point of momentum. We've got enough momentum in the Champions League because it's a different kettle of fish. Bigger fish to fry, remember? We have it all in our hands. Remember that? I remember that. Teletubby Robbie and all of that. Another one. Another fucking one. You know, probably sell out his family for £1 though, but that's just my opinion anyway, but I'll digress on that. But still, we've got way too many in football that think and act like that. Never mind just in our fan base. We probably have the most, innit? But trust me, this is why I want to win the Champions League so fucking bad. It's got to that point where I've been saying it's Champions League or bust. Fuck off the league. Not because we're bigger and better than it, because it's done. It's been done since January, mate. We know this. Oh, but it wasn't mathematics. I don't give a fuck about the mathematics. I don't care about the stats. This manager's done enough damage by playing Thomas Partey at right back. You know what I say about people in life, especially certain people? They will always revert to type. When push comes to shove, he will always revert to type. The only changes that I want to see from now till the end of the season is players getting rested for whatever Premier League game we've got coming up. So after Palace, it will be Bournemouth. Do you know what I'm saying? I might even go to that game. So I don't want to see none of them starters that I've mentioned, right? I want to see the youth. I want to see Kieran Tierney be starting in the league for the rest of the season. Give him a proper send-off because that's the very, very least he deserves. Proper player. The only one in the league and arguably in Europe, probably even the world, that can not only defend well, but attack. And defensively, we know he's better, but he can cross the ball probably better than most. Do you know what I'm saying? That's who we have at this football club, and that's who's going to fucking Celtic. A Celtic, by the way, that nearly knocked out Bayern Munich. That nearly knocked out Bayern Munich in the last 16. Say something. Do you know what I'm saying? Say something.
Yeah.
I'm tired of this shit, Lawrence. Help me out, brother. Help me out because
Well, I remember when Terry Neal was our manager. Sorry that I'm going back to all our yesterdays.
No worries.
When we had a very important European Cup Winners' Cup semi-final against Juventus. We had to play Southampton at Highbury on the Saturday, which was Easter Saturday. And then 2 days later on Easter Monday, we had to play at Tottenham. And then 2 days later on the Wednesday, we had to play Juventus in the Cup Winners' Cup. 3 games, because we were in the league. We were still fighting for the league title with Liverpool back then. And we had 3 games in the space of a week that were going to dictate whether we were going to be successful or not. And Arsenal tried to get those games rearranged so it would give us time to face Juventus. And as per usual, the FA refused to do that. So we had to play 3 games in the space of a week. So Terry Neal rested most of the first team when we played Tottenham. He fielded our reserve team against Tottenham. Paul Davis made his debut. I think the only first team players who played that day were Liam Brady and Alan Sunderland and John Hollins. Everyone else was a reserve player or a kid, right? And we beat Tottenham with our reserve team, who had the likes of Hoddle, Perriman and Ardiles. We beat them 2-1. And it was all due to the fact that we had to play Juventus in the Cup Winners' Cup 2 days later. Because had we played our full first team squad for those 2 games before the Juventus game, that would have killed us. And
this was back in the day where the subs were limited.
Not,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
The squad numbers were limited.
there was no
you know
25-man squad. You know, every team had a first team squad of maybe
challenges flying in
14.
from all over the gap. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
proper men, proper fucking players.
You know, to play Southampton on the Easter Saturday, Tottenham on Easter Monday, and then have to play a European Cup Winners' Cup semi-final first leg 2 days after that was it's just unbelievable. And had we had lost that game at Tottenham by fielding an understrength team full of reserves and kids, the FA could have docked us points.
Yeah, but again, sometimes those risks in regards to potentially winning a Cup Winners' Cup. What year was that, by the way, Lawrence?
1980.
1980.
1980. Yeah, we actually got to the final. We actually got to the final, and we played Valencia.
Right.
I mean, and it was a shit game. I mean, we just lost the cup final to West Ham.
Yeah.
One of the worst days of my life. And then we went out to the Heysel Stadium, which we all know what would happen there 5 years later with Liverpool. Went out to the Heysel Stadium in Belgium, played Valencia. It was a shit game, ended goalless, and we lost on penalties. Another game we should have won, as a matter of fact, even though it was a shit game, because we were miles better than Valencia. Valencia had Mario Kempes playing for them.
Damn.
And we lost that game.
Yeah, this is the level we're dealing with. I'm going to go through the chats again. Got to be done, but you know, I'm glad to do it. And I don't expect this much in the chat, but we've got 4 live viewers at the moment. Big up to every single one of you. Like, subscribe. You know what to do, people. Best believe that. AFC always is everywhere. My #1 supporter at this moment in time. Every manager should be given 2 to 3 years minimum. 2 is more understandable. 3, I think, is a year too long. For me personally, after seeing Arne Slot, what he done with Liverpool, after signing one player who wasn't even a first-team player, could have been, but in the end wasn't, because obviously you got Salah on the right, you got Luis Diaz on the left. Jota was injured for a bit, and then he came back later on in the season, as we're seeing now. But then obviously Cody Gakpo was playing like the false 9, but now he comes off the bench playing on the left, whatever. For me, if you don't win anything in the first season, then the next season, you better be on track. So I wouldn't even give him 2 full years. So if you're not doing well in the league, but we're doing well in the Champions League, win like an FA Cup final and or a League Cup final, I would give that manager time. Do you know what I'm saying? If we're doing well in the league, and we have a situation, maybe not quite 8 points clear, like how we were dominating up until that point where we fell off. And again, Lego Head decided not to play Trossard rather than go back to fucking Jesus, who probably needed more rest. He probably needed surgery at that time as well. And he's had 4 surgeries since then. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like, it's a fucking shambles. But anyway, big up your damn self, as always. This guy, Arteta is a loser. So are you for backing him. Cuck. That's got to be one of the best names I've seen. Definitely in this, like, 100%. Best believe that. You know, run the rhythm, rude boy. Run the rhythm. Walk one for your damn self, yeah? Big up. Big up Natster and Lawrence. Big up yourself, Mudgy. Big up yourself. You're not the only one, Lawrence. I had one melt, and a lot of them are fucking melts. I call them wet wipes as well. Most of them, but damn sure. But anyway, if trophies and winning are so important, go Chelsea, CFC basically. I supported Arsenal for 37 years. Don't win, don't deserve a Champions League. What happened in 37 years? Great point. Great point. We're at the cusp of greatness after having a mediocre season, but you got the likes of Igal and Christian. Christian, who was on Dan Potts' stream. Big up Dan Potts. I like him. I've been on stream with him once, right? Christian was talking about, I'd rather finish second than third. Who fucking cares? This is not the Olympics. This ain't the fucking Olympics. You don't get medals for finishing second. You don't even get the playoff trophy or whatever. I mean, that's a whole different conversation. Yeah. I might have that conversation on Wednesday. I might have that conversation, you know, and then also do like a sort of like a preview before the game, see if the lineups are out or whatever, or trying to predict what the manager's going to do. But again, it's not that difficult. It's not that difficult.
Yeah, I'm saving my "told you so" speech for May the 8th because I reckon PSG are going to rip us a new one.
It's possible, mate.
I've got my what?
No, I was saying it's possible, mate. No, I'm not ruling out PSG. I think we'll get to the final, but it would not surprise me if we get knocked out. That's all I'm saying, innit? That's all. Yeah. The only reason why I think we'll get through PSG is partly because of momentum, and these players, you could tell on the weekends, like yesterday, just gone. They can't be fucked for the league, innit? You know, they know the league's been done for ages, innit? They're focusing all their energy on the Champions League. I was begging Rice against Brentford, don't track back. Stop running. Do you know what I'm saying? What's the worst this manager's going to do? Bench you. You should be happy to be benched in the league. Do you know what I'm saying? Any kind of see, if I was any of them players, Saka's and Rice's, he's going to start in the Champions League anyway because he has to. He has to. Because if he doesn't, you know, he's on his way to getting potted. And I said he'll probably get potted by Christmas. I would love it to be at the end of the season, but I reckon it will be by Christmas. But you never know. Mafioso, Andrea Bad Boy Berta, you never know with this guy, but we'll see. Palace on the beach 2-0, because they've got an FA Cup semi-final. Why couldn't we get there this season? Man City are in an FA Cup semi-final. They've been trashing the league by their high standards. Another one. Talking of which, another one, another legend, another G. Big up Normski TV. Big up your damn self. Wagwan. Best believe that. He says hello to me and hello to you, Mr. Lawrence, of course. And yeah, we got that. And that Melt tried to call me toxic. Oh yeah, of course. Toxic and negative. Ooh. Like, while saying because he's never seen Arsenal win a Champions League, UCL, they shouldn't and don't deserve. The irony. Yeah, this is what we're dealing with. This is exactly what we're dealing with. Straight to the point.
I know I keep bringing this up. Craig Burley, who's a pundit out here on ESPN, he hits the nail on the head wherein he said, like, but people like Egal and others are a mirror image of the club itself.
Mm-hmm.
They're spineless cowards who accept mediocrity and failure for success because they're failures in their own lives.
It's as simple as that, mate. It's as simple as that.
He's spot on with that, right? I don't like Craig Burley myself, but he hits the nail on the head. It's 100% fact that these AKB ostriches are a mirror image of the club itself. They're spineless cowards who are quite happy to finish second every season or third every season, and to finish runners up in a cup final because that's how they view life.
Yeah, 100%. Big up Aaron Talks Arsenal. Much love. He was on my first ever live stream, and it won't be the last. Best believe that. You know, I'll try and schedule the next one better, much better. I did it to webcam instead of streaming provider, aka StreamYard. Generational stinker and hooked and all that. But either way, can't stay on the chat, brother. It's chill time with the missus, of course, because it's bank holiday weekend over here. I think it's just any other Monday for you. Is it, Lawrence? Or something like that.
It's just a normal Monday out here.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. Just a normal Monday. Fair enough. until my show starts. Yeah, no problem. Just wanted to jump in the chat, show the support, and send the love, brother. Yeah, one love. Big up your damn self, General from day one. My fucking G. Well, one for yourself, your missus, and the rest of the family, the kids. You know what time it is, brother. You know exactly what time it is. And yeah, Aaron, I might be going to the Bournemouth game, innit? I'll probably be going with my brother. He's only ever been to one Arsenal game. That was the Fulham one. So I went to the Fulham one because my brother knows a season ticket holder. It's just one of them ones. But yeah, I actually more so the second half than the first half. I actually quite enjoyed that game. But again, Saka didn't start that game, ironically, and it is what it is. What I want to see if I end up going to the Bournemouth game, which is in a couple of weeks' time, I believe, is I want to see the kids playing. Pause. I want to see the subs and reserves, basically. I want to see only Odegaard, pretty much, maybe Trossard as well, on the left. And I would start Martinelli up front, maybe, or play Trossard in the middle. But then again, who else are you going to play on the left? Like what, Lewis Skelly, what Tierney? Like, but again, if Arteta, if fucking Legohead managed his squad properly, right, and understood, just give me a sec here, he understood the whole fucking point of this stream, other than what the title says, but this title down there, why does this manager not understand the red zones? Even Arsene fucking Wenger understood that shit till the end. And at the end, I'll tell you what Arsene Wenger was doing at the end. 2017 FA Cup final, 2-1 against Chelsea. That was his last trophy. The following season that he got potted, he didn't leave under mutual consent. He got potted. He was basically told to leave or he'll get sacked. He decided to leave. So either way, he got potted. Either way, he got potted.
Because it was getting toxic. It was getting toxic. That stuff. It was getting toxic in the fan base. There was empty seats at the Emirates. You could see the mosaic of that cannon in the far stand. That's why they gave him. They said either you step down and we'll give you the respect you deserve, or we'll just kick you out the club. That's why he left.
Yeah, exactly.
And I still believe, right, he got fired. Everyone may paint it up and say, no, he decided to step down. But I know he got fired. I don't care what anyone else says. He got the sack because he had stayed too long at the club and the club was going downhill.
He was never going to leave willingly. That's the thing. I think the board realised after that FA Cup, they thought probably Wenger was going to leave after the FA Cup against Chelsea. Like the highest that he could achieve at that point in his whole career, but obviously his managerial career, probably should have left against Hull. I remember watching that. The following year, back-to-back FA Cups. That's the only back-to-back we've done, by the way. We've not won back-to-back league titles since the 30s. Correct me if I'm wrong, Lawrence. Since the 30s. Late 20s, 30s, yeah? No, I think it was 30s. Herbert Chapman era.
We won the FA Cup in 2002 and 2003.
Oh, yes,
Beat Chelsea.
Yeah, in terms of the Cups, I'm talking about like the league. So like the league, we haven't won it back-to-back. For pretty much nearly 100 years. For the size of this club, that's not good enough. And big up to 5 viewers. There was 6 at one point. Big up to every single one of you. But yeah, like Arsene Wenger was never going to leave, and he had chance after chance. That 2015 FA Cup final, 4-0 against Villa, we absolutely destroyed them. Absolutely fucking destroyed them. I was in a pub in Wembley. I was probably trying to sneak into the game, sneak into Wembley at some point, but couldn't do it. But it was packed. There for the vibes and all that. But vibes are okay when we get to an FA Cup final, number one. But more importantly, much more importantly, number two, when you win the damn competition, then it's pure vibes. This is what we want. And the funny thing is, Lawrence, at the end of the day, when we win trophies, we're all happy. We're all happy. But if we finish second, only them lot are happy. That tells
Yeah.
you everything and
Exactly.
anything and everything about them, where their mindset is at, and all
And
of that. Yeah, go on.
And that 2014 final against Hull City, Arsene Wenger must have been kissing Kieran Gibbs' ass for saving that shot on the line. Because if we had gone 3-0 down, there was no way we were going to come back in that game.
Oh, 100%. I don't think we would have won the FA Cup the following season. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it's like this whole experience thing, like these new gen fans, these modern fans, like along with loving and sucking off, whatever you want to call it, these maulers, these modern day footballers. They ain't ballers, they're modern day footballers. It is what it is, man. Like, people seriously overlook and oversee experience in finals. Unless you've got serious momentum, which is what Chelsea had when they won their first Champions League. But you notice how the second time around in 2021, you notice how Tommy Tukes had a plan, he stuck to it, and the players bought it into it, and Kai Havertz scored the winning goal like it was nothing, like a stroll in the park. That's experience, bro. The 2015 FA Cup final, where we won it back-to-back, them players were so relaxed, so calm. Every single one of them, whether they were starting or coming off the bench. Wally Walcott, you know, like, yes, he scored like over 100 goals and all that. Fair play to the geezer. But as a pundit, you know, like Owen Hargreaves' level of boredom and lack of charisma at any fucking nous or whatever. But anyway, I digress on that. Smashed in the first goal. Alexis Sanchez with a fucking worldie. Again, he carried our team on our back for the longest. For the whole time he was there, basically. It wasn't Mesut Ozil. It was Alexis fucking Sanchez, mate. And experiencing cup finals is almost everything. Almost. Quality here and there can help you out in certain situations. So the first one against Hull, we were 2-0 down. Santi Cazorla scores a worldie of a free kick. Keeper gets a hand to it, but couldn't really do much about it. Do you know what I'm saying? Gets us back into the game. The momentum shifts. Koscielny, ball in the box, hacks it in, gets a bit hurt in the process, brushes himself off, he's fine. And then Aaron Ramsey. I wouldn't say he's an Arsenal legend, but he's definitely a cult hero because he scored in 2 FA Cup finals. That's why and how you get remembered, guys. Yeah. Martin Ødegaard will not be remembered unless we win the Champions League. That is a fact that these top gooners have to accept. Because trust me, the only first team player I want to see starting from now to the end of the season is Martin Ødegaard. And if he gets injured, I don't wish it on him. I'm not that kind of guy. But if he gets injured, so be it, innit? Because, and to be honest, it will help us. Let's be real, it will help us. It sounds harsh, it sounds bad to say, whatever. It will help us. Because playing Real Madrid, 10 men pretty much, Ødegaard, a.k.a. Pillowfoot, hiding. He's been hiding all season long, bro. All season long. If we put Zinchenko in the number 10, look how we were playing against Brentford. If only we'd scored more goals to keep that momentum going, then he could have brought on a Saka in the 70th, 80th minute. Why he brought Ødegaard on, I have no idea. Because if you weren't going to start him, I don't see the point of bringing him on. Do you know what I'm saying? And when we brought him on, we went a goal down. He's playing against us. I agree with Guns and all of them, man, there. All them people. Do you know what I'm saying? He's playing against us. If we don't win this Champions League, other than Lego head, on the pitch, it will be down to Ødegaard. Our club captain, by the way, but we all know who the real captain is. It's Declan fucking Rice, mate. Roberto Di Matteo, mate. One of them ones, yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Gabriel, if he wasn't injured, he'd be another one. Even with his limited English, I don't care. Like, those are our two real captains, innit? None of this pillow foot bollocks. Do you know what I'm saying? Declan Rice is our real captain. If we have a thread of a chance of winning this Champions League, I fucking hope and pray that Declan Rice carries us there. Because it's about time we win something in Europe. Don't you agree, Lawrence? It's about fucking time that we win the Champions League. I don't want to hear Chelsea doing all of this. And I don't want Tottenham winning shit anyway. I don't want them to win a fucking throw-in. you know what I'm saying?
We're,
It's madness.
we're one of the biggest clubs in the world. I'm sorry if people disagree with me. We're the third biggest club in England.
Mm-hmm.
We're also one of the biggest clubs in Europe. Yet we've only won 2 European trophies in our history. You know, I mean, I was fortunate to see us win the Intercities Fairs Cup, which is now the Europa League, back in 1970. I was a slip of a lad, all snot and marmite. But I was there at Highbury that night when we were 3-1 down from the first leg, and we won 3-0 in the return. And all the fans invaded the pitch and lifted Frank McClintock up on their shoulders when we got the trophy. And then in 1994, I flew from Los Angeles to London on the Friday before that final. I went to Highbury the following day and saw us lose 2-0 to West Ham. And then the day after that, I got a coach from Highbury that took me, along with other Arsenal supporters, by ferry. We had to take, I think it was 3 ferries to get us to Copenhagen. And Copenhagen looked more like North London that night. It was unbelievable. I thought I was in fucking Islington. We made it like a home game. Anyone who went knows what I'm talking about. Inside that stadium, all you could see was red and white everywhere. And I think that was instrumental in us beating Parma that night, because Parma played us off the pitch that night. Let's not kid ourselves. Parma played us off the pitch that night.
I watched that game back as well recently. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was born in 94. How do I know how that game panned out? Why? Because I went back into the fucking archives. And all you cunts that talk about this, talk about that, you know what I'm saying? If I, just some guy who's 30, that loves Arsenal, loves this football club, understands the history up to a certain point. Obviously, Lawrence knows way more. Jez probably the most, and Kenny knows a hell of a lot about Arsenal, considerably knows a hell of a lot about Arsenal, way more than I ever could. But if I know how that game panned out, how is that possible? When I wasn't even born technically, when we won our last European trophy. And what you're talking about, the journey, and that's, you know, the journey, that's a real journey, bro. Flight, 3 ferries to fucking Copenhagen. That's a real fucking journey. And we need these fans, and I'm sure Aaron will be one of them. I don't know if he's going to PSG away, but I'm sure he'll probably find time to make the home leg. Do you know what I'm saying? He'll be there. Other Arsenal fans will be there, and we need that vibe, home and away, for the rest of the season. We got 3 more games. Whoever we play in the final, whether it's Barca or Inter, is going to be a tough game. Now, I'd rather face Barca. Even with the history of our first ever Champions League final, this Barca ain't the level of that Barca. Let's be real. No Ronaldinho, no Samuel Eto'o. Iniesta was a lot younger then. You know, Xavi was established. And obviously you got Carlos Puyol. Victor Valdez was very good in the net as well. And yeah, that team was just different class. Do you know what I'm saying? I rate Lamine Yamal and all of them lot, but Hansi Flick, I rate their manager highly. If it wasn't for Ancelotti, my number 1 pick now, somehow, if anyone can, Andrea Berta, mate. Andrea Mafioso, bad boy Berta. He's the only one that could probably convince Hansi Flick. You know, Barca will probably win the league. They'll probably win the Copa del Rey. Might even win the Champions League. Whatever ends up happening, and he's proven he can do it at Bayern Munich. When he was at Bayern Munich, do you know what I'm saying? I'd be on the phone. If I was Berta, I'd be on the phone to Hansi Flick. It's just like, look, I know Arsenal is technically a step below Arsenal at the very least, but we've got a huge project here. We've got some very good players. We're looking to win the Champions League. We're looking to win the league, and you will forever be immortalized if you do that. We'll give you 10, 15. Fuck it. Give him 15 million a year. Give him 20 million. Do you know? Because if Arteta's getting 15, we can attract. We've got money. That's the thing. I've looked at Arsenal accounts, bro, on Company's House. We've got money. If we can give Arteta 15 million, I want whoever, whether it's Diego Simeone, whether it's Simone Inzaghi, whether it's Hansi Flick, and all of this, but he's tied to his contract. No one's available. Everyone's available at a price, mate. That is life. It is what it is. But what I'm going to do, Lawrence, is I'm just going to go through the comments once again. I think it was here. Yeah.
Before you go through the comments, just want to say, after that game in Copenhagen, I then had to take 3 ferries and the coach back to London. I didn't get back to London till the early hours of Friday morning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry, Thursday morning. Thursday morning. Okay, I had 3 hours sleep before I had to pack my bags, get back to Heathrow Airport, and get a flight back out here to Los Angeles.
There you go, mate. There you go. But apparently you're a glory hunter, mate. Apparently you're a glory hunter.
I'm a glory hunter.
And you've mentioned before you've been living in the States for many years. Like even at that time, you're in the States since the early 90s.
34 years.
Yeah. There you go. Since basically 1991. And here we go. Arteta is a loser. So are you for backing him, Cuck? Back once again for the Renegade Master. Best believe that. I fucking love that tune, mate. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that. That's just me. But yeah, unfortunately, none of the players Arteta recruited or part of his recruitment policy basically doesn't allow for rebellious characters, which is why we didn't get Ivan Toney before we went to Saudi, mate. That is exactly why. That is literally exactly why. You know, big up Hazard, aka Aaron, of course. Rashid, Arsenal Revolution TV. And we're on this way. Best believe that. Big up your damn self. He's a funny guy as well, man. Yeah, big up, bro. Big up. 30 minutes. Yeah, I'll probably be wrapping up soon, innit? Probably could do another half an hour, 45 minutes. Either way, but yeah, if you're down to come on, you have the link, brother. We can chat for about 10 minutes or so. I mean, I haven't even really got into the match reaction that much. There's a little bit more to talk about, and even with what happened, it was mainly Saka's potential injury, and that was it. We knew we were going to beat them anyway. Whether it was 1-0, whether it was 6-0, it ended up being 4-0. It is what it is, mate. But yeah, if I'm still live in the next half an hour, which probably will be, big up your damn self. Big up Rashid, of course, every time. 30 minutes, yeah. Probably could do that. Probably go another half hour, 45 minutes, there or thereabouts. But we can keep it going. And Lawrence, if you need to bounce, say or put it in the private chat, either way, not a problem, mate. So we can keep this going for a bit longer. And since it's been a few days since my last live, and it's nice to have you on as well, of course. Don't get me wrong. For me, it's so refreshing to have Arsenal fans that not only think alike, but just from a certain time period as well, a certain generation that have done the hard yards. So when all these fans are talking about, but he can do a job, do you know what I'm saying? Oh, he's got great legs, you know, like he's got an engine, blah, blah, blah. What about the fans that have done the mileage, proper mileage, home and away, especially away? Our away fans are elite, bro. Maybe not as much in previous years, but our away fans are still top. Do you know what I'm saying? For the most part.
Yeah.
And like, they don't deserve this shit. The majority of them don't deserve this shit. Whereas the home fans, on the other hand, like, look, if you're an overseas fan, and technically, Lawrence, you're an overseas fan and probably have been for a while, Guns is an overseas fan, do you know what I'm saying? I'll end up being an overseas fan at some point. But it's not so much whether you're overseas. It's more whether you have been supporting Arsenal for a long period of time, or you're there just for the tourist attraction. Like you're seeing Arsenal as like, and the Emirates as like a new age Buckingham Palace, because that's basically how we've been treated. I mean, look at the Armory, bruv. The Armory is still packed to the rafters. Do you know what I'm saying? And it sickens me, but again, it doesn't surprise me. It really doesn't surprise me. But again, a lot of you top gooners, you tippity top gooners, you motherfuckers have got to understand something. Right here, right now, Fatboy Slim sayings. Second doesn't mean shit. There are 5. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mumbo number 5. Dun, 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 dun. Do you know what I'm saying? Like 5 Champions League places. 5, not 4, 5. So Forest will probably be 1. And it will be out of Villa, who smashed Newcastle on the weekend, by the way. Villa were brilliant. And other than the FA Cup, which they still got to play for, Newcastle, other than Champions League, they've got nothing to play for, but they've had a successful season. Why have Newcastle had a successful season? Whether they get Champions League or not, because they won a fucking trophy, mate. I don't care if they paraded that shit. I really don't. Those fans deserve it. That's why they did it. Do you know what I'm saying? Now, if we paraded a Carabao Cup, I'd have mixed feelings on it personally, even though it's been years since it's happened. It was a year before I was born. Do you know what I'm saying? Against Sheffield United, the same team we beat in the FA Cup final that year. But Wednesday. My apologies, Wednesday. Back to back, 93. I think Ian Wright scored one of the winning goals. Did he? Was that in the FA Cup?
No, the League Cup was Paul Merson and Steve Morrow.
Right.
Morrow dislocated his shoulder at the end. Remember, Tony Adams lifted him up because he got the winner right, and he accidentally dropped him, and he landed on his shoulder. Yeah. And he had to wait until the FA Cup final to pick up his League Cup final winners medal.
Yeah. There you go, proper players, man. Do you know what I'm saying? Shit happens. It is what it is. But yeah, while we've been talking about Champions League, because that's all we have to play for, basically, I've got to ask you this question, Lawrence. I want to go into detail why you don't think Arsenal will end up getting to the final. Any kind of specifics around that, will help and will do just fine. But because we touched upon it briefly, you mentioned it. I just want to know why, from your perspective, what we're lacking compared to what PSG are lacking, considering how Villa kind of, in my eyes anyway, it exposed them. And I'll get into that after your answer. But yeah, go ahead, Lawrence. Like, why do you think Arsenal won't qualify
because
to get to the final?
This PSG team is not the same PSG team that we played in the league phase back in October. This is a different animal altogether. Dembele and I can never pronounce the geezer's name.
Kvaratskhelia. Kvaratskhelia. Yeah, Kava. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
If we are not on our game, right, they're going to rip us a new one. I hope I'm proved wrong. I'd love us to get to the Champions League final. I still feel the pain of us not winning that trophy back in 2006.
100%. 100%. I was 11 years old, mate. I was 11 years old when that happened.
10 minutes away from lifting the biggest prize in European football. And it was robbed. It was taken from us because Jens Lehmann had a brain fart and got sent off. And we had to rely on fucking Almunia, who I blame for both their goals. He was
100%. 100%. That is probably Wenger's worst ever signing in terms of magnitude. Do you know what I'm saying? What he cost us. And after that Champions League final, notice how much worse he got. And his crowning moment in recent years was when he saved a penalty for Watford for them to get to a playoff final. That was 2016, something like that. 2016, 2017, either one. give or take. Like, this is what we're dealing with. And Arsene Wenger, he didn't even start Dennis Bergkamp. That is criminal behaviour, number one. Number two, he took off Bobby Perez. Why? I understand Fabregas starting. I understand Haleb starting. Obviously, you know, Ashley Cole came back because he was injured during the campaign for a bit. Obviously, Sol Campbell, he scored the header. Great. I mean, Sol Campbell, you could always depend on a header, as long as they didn't chalk it off. Do you know what I'm saying? Because obviously through England and all of that, you know, you could say like in Portugal, especially, like, you know, politics or whatever, we were robbed. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, as Guns would say.
But even then, that's though we should have closed that game out. Thierry Henry and Freddie Ljungberg had chances to win that game for us that they missed. You know, I mean, can you imagine the euphoria had we have won that?
Yeah,
that would have been the icing on the cake.
And we would have been the first London club to win it as well.
Yeah, first London
Instead,
club.
we got to watch Chelsea, them lot at the fucking bridge. Chelsea. Yeah, all that.
And if you remember, Natster, right, that season we picked Tottenham for that last Champions League spot because they decided to have lasagna the night before their game at West Ham, and we all know what happened after they had lasagna.
They even to this day they can't let that go. Expressions and all of them lot, them Spurs, like, they'll never live that down. They'll never live that down unless they win the Europa League. Like, they ain't living that down. But to be perfectly honest, just very quickly, I don't think Spurs will win the Europa League. Do you know why? Because if Man United get to the final, I think Man U will just about have enough, number one. And to be honest, their fans will never let them get over and forget losing to Spurs in the final. Because we've only ever done that once. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it 90? Was it? No. It was. We played Spurs in the semi-final, and Gaza scored that wicked free kick. And then they ended up playing Forest, which they ended up winning. But in a final, if you lose to Spurs in the final, whoever the manager is, whoever is responsible for that, upstairs, on the pitch, need to be potted, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I'm sorry, to dare is to do. To dare is to do fuck all, mate. That is what Spurs is about. And to be honest, if it's Bilbao, because the Europa League final is being hosted at the San Mamés. I think I've butchered the pronunciation, but it's in Bilbao basically. So I don't know what happened there. Don't know if you had to go, Lawrence. If that was the case, then fair enough. Not a problem there, mate. But it's an absolute pleasure having you on and all of that. Big up. Arteta's a loser. So are you for backing him, cuck. Transition and fluidity is PSG's scariest tool. Yeah. On the break, they're devastating. They put the game away and to bed to a degree from Villa, but bearing in mind, Emi Martinez fucked it up for their first goal. They scored 2 goals, and then in the second half, Unai Emery put a rocket up them, and they did what they needed to do. Do you know what I'm saying? But close, but not close enough. But Villa can still win the FA Cup. I have a sneaky feeling it will be Villa and Man City, because Man City won't want to end this season trophyless. No way. And they got Marmoush as well. Marmoush has been balling out as well. So, and Oscar Bob is back. He put on a wicked display against Palace in the league. I think it was last week. So, it is what it is. Newcastle have obviously won the League Cup. They've had a successful season, even if they just get into the Europa League or even Conference League at this point. You can't complain, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? They've done what they needed to do, and they've created history. It's about time these fuckers step up. Now, the only way Wodegaard, Pillowfoot, can redeem himself, There we go. Lawrence is back.
Sorry
I'll
about
just
that.
finish. Yeah, no worries, mate. It's that basically the only way Wodegaard can deal himself. I was just about to get into this, Lawrence. Is that we get past PSG. Let's say, even for argument's sake, because I think we're going to face Inter if we get to the Champions League final, and that will be the toughest test. Let's say we get Inter, right, and we get there. Wouldn't it be so poetic if Pillowfoot scores the winning goal like Havertz did for Chelsea, innit? I could see that happening. And then all the shit that he done this season gets forgotten, and his name is fully written into the Arsenal history books. If he does that, then fair enough, innit? Fair enough. And then we could sell him for top dollar, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? Valuation increases to 30, 40 million instantly. 80 million, 240k off the wage bill, and whoever buys him will probably want to pay that either way. Do you know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
for me, what I'll say, and I hear what you're saying, like PSG, them three up front, but I would say it's the three in midfield that we got to watch out for the most. That Vitinha, baller, Fabio Maurice, baller. João Neves is a very good player, young prospect. He's not quite there yet, but he's been doing brilliantly. What Luis Enrique has done for them man there, he's created a baby Barca, not of the level of the MSNs and all of that, Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, but it's basically a regenerated version. So if we don't watch out, we're not only going to get bopped off the park, but if they score the first goal at the Emirates, it's going to be a long 180 minutes plus. I could see this going on for 200 minutes. Especially with the way we try and slow the game down and all that shit. But we have to score first. I want a repeat of Real Madrid. And if it's not 3 goals, then make it 2. Do you know what I'm saying? Because then at least going to PSG, we know what we need to do, number 1. And number 2, we kind of pass the test in terms of hostile atmosphere, because Parc des Princes ain't the Bernabeu. Do you know what I'm saying? I know Real Madrid have been poor this season, but the Parc des Princes ain't as terrifying. It's nowhere near as hostile, in my opinion. It can still be very hostile, don't get me wrong. But if we go in there 2-0, I think we'll have just enough. I think we can stink it out, maybe hit them on the break like we did with Real Madrid. But if it's 1-0, I'm not convinced, you know what I'm saying? And I do not trust Lego Head with 1-0 leads, especially in 2-legged ties, do you know what I'm saying? We were 1-0 down against Porto and just about clawed our way back.
I don't trust Captain Black whatsoever. I honestly, I just don't. I mean, if we can keep a clean sheet, that'll be great. But the way this manager picks his teams and the formation and his poor man management skills, I've got no faith in him whatsoever. Trust the fucking process. Give me a laugh. I don't trust it whatsoever.
Yeah, mate. It is what it is, man. But big up everyone in the chat. Big up to all the live viewers and all that shit. But at least we know what needs to be done. I'll tell you, and here's the thing. I heard the likes of Igal, even Christian, but more so Igal. Igal's not so hell-bent on the Arteta, but it's more the process, the journey and all that bollocks, finishing second rather than, if we finish third or fourth, it's a catastrophe. Well, it is, but it isn't in terms of league finish. It'll be a catastrophe if we don't win the Champions League and we've got nothing to show for it and we finish third or fourth, then yeah. But it's not because we finished third or fourth, it's because we didn't fucking win. The whole objective of football, and it's been the same for over 150 years, is to win. Armpits in the air and all of that. I don't want to hear no bullshit about league finish. Less of that. I don't want to hear nada.
Let me ask you this. If I said to you, Napster, who finished runners-up in the Premier League in 2017, could you tell me, without going on to Google,
I'm not on Google.
Can you tell
I
me
can't,
who finished runners up?
prove it exactly right now. But I probably could. But still, I do know the answer. 2017, you say that's the year Chelsea won the league. Last won the league.
Yeah.
Record-breaking Chelsea. Tottenham, I believe. There is to do merchants finished second because Poch was there at the time. And what is it? A year later, they got to an FA Cup semi-final and they balls that one up. Do you know what I'm saying? And they played Chelsea off the park. I remember watching that game, and then Matic had a humdinger, a screamer, bruv. And it was just like the rest is history, innit? And then Conte beat Jose Mourinho's Man United in the final.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. Not always the best team wins the cups, innit? Even the Champions League. But go on, bro.
Yeah, but generally, who remembers the team that finished runners-up in the Premier League in any season? Who remembers the team that finished runners-up in the FA Cup in 1986?
Oh, I wouldn't know that for damn sure. I wouldn't know that. Off the top of my head,
no one remembers. Nobody remembers the team that finishes third in the league. Nobody remembers the team that finishes fourth. So on. And
if they're so hell bent on the Premier League history and all of that, who finished second in '93? Because I believe I know the answer to that, but most people won't. But I don't expect them to. Even if you're from that era, even if you remember them times, you'll definitely remember them times. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was Norwich because Man United won their first league title in.
I think it was Aston Villa.
Or was it Aston Villa that pipped Norwich? Because I thought Norwich were there or there. Yeah, okay. So was it? Aston Villa in the end. Yeah, it was either one of them two. But you see what I mean? This is '93. This is before I was born, technically. So it's like, mate, like the whole finishing second. No one remembers that shit. And here's the thing: these are current season and going off barely last season. Basically, the first 3-4 months going into the current season or the next season. In this case, it will be merchants, bruv. Do you know what I'm saying? But tell them what happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15, 20, 25 years ago. Who finished second? Who finished third? Who finished fourth? God forbid who finished fifth. They don't have a fucking Scooby fucking do what to do, mate, when you ask them that question. And it's as simple as that, mate. Football's a simple game. Win or fuck off. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. No one can tell me. No one can ever tell me otherwise that isn't or shouldn't be the case. If we're the third best team, and the problem is, the likes of Igal, his Canadian team is like, what is it, the Maple Leafs or some shit? I don't watch ice hockey. I don't watch American sports. The last time I watched American sports was like NBA, but that was years ago. That's more my old man's team. Do you know what I'm saying? Respectfully. But it's like they don't even have a relegation system. And that tells me everything that I need to know. And Igal supports a Maple Leafs team that haven't won like a series, the Silver Cup, whatever the fuck it's called in hockey, for years. I think they got to a final in the last 5 or 10 years or so, but didn't win it, or they just won it recently after 50 years or whatever. This is who Igal supports. But he doesn't hold the same standards for that team, for Arsenal team. He knows that they're crap, but he supports them or whatever. It is what it is. But when we're the third biggest team, you can't acknowledge that. And if you do, you still buy into this bullshit process. You still buy into this crap. You're trolling. You're doing this. You're doing that. Whatever, yeah? Make your money.
Yeah.
Do your thing. But, yeah, I see I saw the private message. You got to go, Lawrence. Massive shout out to you. Thanks for being on my stream. Big up your damn self every time. We're going to go into the live chat now. Big up Arteta is a loser. So are you for backing him. I love that name. I got to keep saying it. Do you know what I'm saying, bro? I got to keep saying that shit. But yeah, respectfully, Lawrence, I'm not interested in runners up unless it helps me win money in a trivia contest. And if it's a lot of money, then I'm all for that too. But I hear what you're saying, bro. Or win. Yeah, my bad. Yeah. Win or you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. I know you got to go, Lawrence. I did see your
Yeah.
private chat. Do you want to? Oh no, you got to call in half an hour. My bad. So
Yeah, mate. Sorry, this phone keeps logging me out when I text people. But
Oh,
yeah,
right,
I've got a Zoom meeting that I can't afford to miss, and I've got
no
to get
problem.
myself ready for it.
Shout out
So thanks for
to
having
Tim.
me on,
Thanks for being on my stream and all of that. Where can they find you, Lawrence? Any plugs? What's coming up next? Big up your damn self as always. Much love, brother.
I just started Instagram, right? And if anyone wants to reach out to me, they can reach me at once a gooner, always a gooner. That's my my Instagram address. So if anyone wants to chat and talk Arsenal with me, I'm open to it. Or have me on their podcast. I'm open to that as well.
Nice one, mate. Well, you're always welcome as long as I'm streaming, and as long as you've got nothing else planned as well. But yeah, big up your damn self as always. Much love, brother. We keep fighting. We'll still speak our truth. It is what it is, man. But eventually, the gals, the Christians, whoever it is, like they'll come around. Their time is round the corner, my friends. So yeah. And once Lego Head gets potted, we will be there. More than you believe.
Yeah.
More than you believe. Best believe that. But big up, brother. Much love.
Captain Black out.
Captain Black out. That's it, Lawrence. That's the one. Take care, mate. Take care. In a bit. Woo! 2 hours. 2 live viewers at the moment. It was up to 6 at one point. Big up every single one of you. Do you know what I'm saying? I'll tell you what. I've really enjoyed this stream. I have really, really, really enjoyed this stream. I probably won't go on for that much longer, to be perfectly honest. Got a few things to sort out here and there. And yeah, I'm not really planning on staying up too late as I usually would. But yeah, big up everyone in the chat. Elite level chat. Aaron calls it world class. I call it elite. It is what it is, bro. But yeah, I know. Was it Rashid? If you're still there, what I'm probably gonna do, I'll probably end this one, pretty sharpish. And what I'll do is I'll schedule properly live stream for Wednesday. It will probably be not too long before kickoff. I'd say probably about like 6, 7, around about that time, maybe even earlier than that. Probably could do it for even 4, but I'll let you guys know. But at least you know now what I'm thinking of. But I will have a stream on Wednesday, and that'll be before the we face Palace at home. And again, I don't want to be seeing any of the first teamers other than Pillowfoot, aka Wodegaard, aka Missing God, Houdini God. I'm nicking a living God. I don't have a Scooby Doo what I'm doing. I'm hiding between referees and opposition players, God. Do you know what I'm saying, bro? Best believe that. We'll go last comment. Natster, been a good show. Another one. Speaks facts. I think you're trying to show, yeah, 100%. Big up. Much love, AFC. Always is everywhere. Number one support at the moment. We'll go for a few more. Why not? It's great for the engagement and all that, as you know, people. Yeah, hopefully we see Deji start midweek and further rotation. Yeah, Oladeji. Yeah, I know you're talking about 100%. And yeah, I'll leave it here, guys. Thank you ever so much for tuning in. Like, subscribe. You know what to do. Share if you want. Big up the elite chat. Comment below. Check out my other videos. And yeah, that will be it, people. Wagwan for your damn selves. Hopefully you enjoyed the bank holiday weekend. And yeah, peace.